So there's been one thing that's been like going through my brain for, I don't know, the past like 10 years. And it's this millennia. And it's to do with how millennials seem to think that they are entitled to every single thing, that they know everything, yet they're the most uneducated, just logically and sensically. Um, and I do find even people around my age now and even a little bit older are still lacking in these areas. Now, I wanted to discuss millennials because all they all, all they appear to do and want is social media, phone, internet, anything tangible, anything that is the new fashion for the time, for the moment. It could be clothes, it could be getting piercings, it could be tattoos. If, I don't know, the biggest rock star in the world turned around and started, like, I don't know, getting love hearts, like, on their, I don't know, their whole one side cheek, I guarantee at least probably a good half of the world that are millennials would do the same thing. Now, it's funny, I'm not that old. Mentally and emotionally, well, because of my now diagnosed rare disease, kind of physically, but either way, my point is that this behavior won't get you far for the future. These things, yes, I have a phone. Yes, I've created a foundation here on YouTube to do what I believe is solid, true work. It's not me trying to get 1,000 views or billion views because I put up some stupid ass pretend to be trailer and take snippets from other movies, say the main actor plays in this new film that's coming out, and they just chuck it in there just to get a view count of like fucking, what is it? I don't know, 1 million in a day. No. I think it's beyond, like, we're in a world where we're almost delusional now. Everything we do and see is not real. Like, what happened to a natural face like mine right now? And some of you can turn around and say, well, you're bipolar. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me the slightest at all. Like, these are real. These are my real eyebrows. I did this. I shaped them. I did it that way. They're my eyebrows. Look, seriously, like this whole brow taking over your face? No, 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 no. Like, back in the day, it was like even Christina Aguilera did it, where she come up with the album Stripped, which was, and she had thin eyebrows. When I was young, I used to just have almost like pencil like eyebrows, you know, and stuff like that. But it's all these things. So like long nails, but let me tell you something, especially about younger women or women that dress to impress on a night out. Those women that have a full face of makeup, hair done in a way, could be fake. You don't even know what you're touching it. And by the way, an ex of mine made a joke to me a while back, right? He turned around and because his girlfriend was fully made up, like in face, um, and he goes, "Oh my gosh, like I'd wake up and her face was stuck to the pillow." And I'd be like, I would just laugh because he knew, like, if you look at this person, you could see that they weren't real. Like she shaved her eyebrows off only just to pencil them in. You know what I mean? It's like things like that. And it's like having your eyebrows like mine doesn't take a lot of hard work at all. It doesn't. And I sure as hell don't want anybody, like, even if I become famous and people were dressing me up for a major event, I'd be like, no, you know what I mean? I don't want loads of makeup. If anything, I'll just have a bit of blush and foundation on. That's all I'd ask for. Because evidently I don't, this is my true face. And if you don't like my true face or my true body or the person I am on the inside, then I'll show you where the door is. So, like my hair's tied up, but this is that, I've got quite long hair. It's goes down to about the middle of my spine. It's all real. There are things that you can do, natural remedies and stuff to get your hair looking thicker, grow longer. Like I say, wait it out and do your own eyebrows to the shape that you like, that you're comfortable with. Like, social media is not that imperative. Yes, I admit I have Instagram and Facebook. And a part of me now is like, oh my God, maybe I should just delete them, Like, I am so tired. There is no disrespect. Well, there's every bit of disrespect, rather, when it comes to integration in communication. And I'm a peacekeeper. I don't believe in war. And you know what? I am a communication person. So if there's something going on, I will speak to you about it. But the truth of the matter is, why do you need to dress to impress when really and truthfully everybody's beautiful in their own way? But we don't need filters all the time. Like, this video is not filtered. This is my face. I might look tired, you can see under the eyes. I don't care. But ultimately, I'm not doing it to appease you. I'm not sitting here going, oh my God, I should put on a bit of makeup for a video. Oh, no. Not at all. Because that was the whole point of me doing the things that I've done for all of these years now. I've completely changed. I used to wear makeup because I was worried about my skin, and that's why I used to wear it. I was like, oh my God, my skin's awful. We do all these things to rip ourselves apart. But you know what? Nobody does anything to pull us back together. So then when all of these things come out, like fake nails, which as you can clearly see, I don't have, and I hate, like, if my nails grow, I literally just clip them off and I nail file them down because I can't stand it. They bug the crap out of me. So everything about me, you see, is real, and I do not ever go out and dress to impress for somebody else. Now, it's different if, say, it's a special occasion and I don't know, I'm with somebody and I don't know, say it's our anniversary and they're like, oh, let's go on a date, let's do this. I might put on, a pair of jeans and a nice top. I don't know. But the point is that everybody now isn't real. Like, you can't tell under makeup some people's true faces, which is almost fraudulent in itself. Then we've got the non-stop people who pretend to be famous people or other people in order for you to give them money. And some of these people, when you're lonely, you feel like this is the only place that you or person that you can find that's there for you. But the truth is that we all need to recognize within ourselves that there is something about us that's worth it, you know? But ultimately, the kind of idea behind this video was to speak about millennial bias and prejudice in regards to looks, in regards to internet and this and that. It also lacks when you're hidden behind a phone 24/7, you don't know then how to integrate with someone like me. And how I like to meet people is by going out to the pub or to wherever, just have a nice drink, have my headphones in. You know, if someone talks to me, they talk to me, but I don't ultimately, I know I just said go out to meet, but I prefer, because that's how it used to be back in the old days. And I say the old days, and I'm not even that old apparently, which I'm not. Technically, I'm not. Apparently, I've got a lot of years left in me. Blah, blah, blah. But my point is that, my God, what would you guys do if our satellite was hit? We'd have no communication. These phones would be useless. Absolutely, unequivocally useless. There would be no planes because they wouldn't necessarily know the route. Everything would probably have to be done by boat, which obviously things are still done by boat, but not, you know what I mean? We've adapted now on all of this kind of stuff. But my point is that you would not know how to survive a situation if something happened to this planet. You millennials would be completely stuck. When I was young, mobile phones did not exist. They didn't exist. We had payphones, and even then, payphones were more of a privilege. And it's like, when we wanted to meet our friends after school, we'd be like, yeah, we'll knock at your house or we'll meet you at the park. That's how it was done. You know? You've got to remember that these communications did not exist like they do now. So the more electronical devices they bring out, you know, it's one of those things. It's heartbreaking, really, because now people that stay behind their phones they lack in communicational skills, and that's what you find. So when they're put in front of a real situation, so say like they go to see their doctor, they might not be as polite as they think they're being because they don't have those communicational skills, because it's all done on this texting, you know, social media. And this is how people get back also at one another, I've seemed to know. People seem to think it's okay to cyberbully. Well, let me tell you something, ladies and gents. It's never okay. Doesn't matter the form that it takes. It's never okay. Okay? Never okay. Bullying, period. Not okay. And everybody gets nitty and gritty, you know, like I hear people whining when they put up a status and then someone's like, blah, 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 and then an argument breaks out and it's like ridiculous. And I think to myself, oh my God, what world are we living in? And the last thing as well that I wanted to ingrain upon all of you, was that a century ago, just over, it was people like my grandfather that fought to get you here in this century. And none of you seem to remember or respect the fact that that's what people like my grandfather did for you. And they didn't have a choice. They were scared children being pulled into the army. It wasn't a, do you want to join? It was a, right, well, you're capable, grab. That's how it was. They didn't have a choice back then. You have more choices than anything. And now you want to argue about genders. Now you want to argue about veganism. Now you want to argue about all these things that didn't exist when you guys didn't even know what it was like to live in the world wars. Do you know how much my grandfather used to speak about rations? How much they would get of meat in a ration for like a week, or a potato, one potato. And you guys take everything for granted, and it shows. And this is a true fact. I mean, I know I've given you quite a few facts, and it's like I said to you, no one is perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm just someone stood here that's taken a huge step back, and I've looked in on the world, and I don't like it. My grandfather didn't fight in the war just so there could be people out there that neglect and abuse everyone around them. And it will only blow back up in your face, because when we're gone, if something does happen to this planet, you're fucked. You don't know how to be a survivalist, do you? Do some of you know how to survive? Get your food if you were, I don't know, stranded somewhere, or, whatever. Doesn't matter the situation. You can all sit there and go, yeah, well, that's easy enough. I can create a fire. Go on then. Test me. How do you create a fire? If you wish to leave a comment and tell me how you'd create a fire, you'd probably look it up on the internet. But off the top of your head, you can't actually tell me how you'd be able to make a fire, how you'd be able to do this, how you'd be able to do that. And some of you, this may not be the case at all, which is fine. But for the rest of you that only care about socials, you're missing out on the real world, the beauties and the non-beauties of the real world. And it sucks. It's sad to me that those things that we invented years ago, that we just did, like cards, just normal card games, like, you know what I mean? Go Fish, Rummy, whatever. It does not matter. I can give you 1,000 different things that people these days do not accept or appreciate because they're biased or prejudiced, because they've made a choice to be. And that is not my fault. And that is not some of these other people's fault. So respect your elders. When they tell you and you nag at them, or you're like, can I have some money? And you're not polite about it, and this and that, they're not going to be there all of your life. That's a sad thing. That's what makes me feel sad, because I know they would have tried. I'd give anything to see my grandfather again, and my grandmother. They were beautiful people. They always cooked from scratch, might I add. Back in those days, oh yeah, the best roast dinners ever, the best fry up ever. You know, I miss those days of being a child and running and just being happy to be at my, you know, at their house and just, you know, running around in the garden and like just doing child things. Like they were taught. Might sound boring to some of you. Well, will do sound boring probably, but they used to teach us about nature as well and plants and so it wasn't just that, but there were lots of things. But those things are the things that are highly valued that do not or are a rarity these days. And I've made a vow and a promise to my grandfather on his deathbed that I would uphold his moral compass and do the things that needed to be done. And this is why I do the things that I do right now, and I put up these videos, It's not a case of me thinking I'm better than everybody else. It's me trying to help. Because the truth is, when that satellite goes out, you're all blind. Electric cars ain't gonna work. This is what I'm saying. Everyone wants to convert to electric this, electric that, but ultimately, nah. Nope. It won't bode us well in the long run, and I think we all know that. They are better for global warming, which is a great thumbs up there, as the seas are rising, because I can tell you in the UK that our south, somewhere I used to go to when I was a kid, beautiful place it was, beautiful sands, it's gone, it's underwater now, it's underwater. And yeah, people still want to have the disbelief of global warming. And they want to have the disbelief of this and that. But the true worry is all of this social media, and because, how many of you, by the way, out there that have also had your accounts hacked? Quite a few of you. My mother was one of them. She couldn't get back some of her stuff. Stuff that she'd had on there for years that were, photographs taken back and everything like that, It's, but you guys throw tantrums like, oh my God, my life is ending. No, it's not. Like, dudes, come on. You save pictures on your phones, like, going out and that. If you really want to put them back up, make a new account. Like, it's not that hard. But that's not the point that I'm trying to make. It's not about gadgets. It's not about materialistic things. It's about the connection. And there are so many things that I could reel off from this, but all I'm saying is just be mindful of the ones that got you to where you are. Do not forget where you come from, who put you here. Never forget it, because they won't always be there. You can say, You might hate your parents. Oh, all they do is nag you. Well, you know what? No one's perfect. Everyone has issues with their families. Come on. I know that. But that's not an excuse to, just throw them under the bus or get yourself emancipated and then have the audacity years later to turn around and say, well, you abused me, blah, blah, blah. But you've made a choice to get yourself emancipated. Imagine how that hurt your parents or parent. Can't imagine it was a nice thing to do. So you do have to take these things into account. You do. You have to take accountability 24/7 for these things. But just please remember who got you here in the first place and who is most valuable without you realizing it. And they're always right here in front of your face. And you know what? It doesn't hurt to give them a quick call sometimes and just do a checkup. And it don't hurt to learn a bit about nature, what's out there, what you are capable of, because I guarantee some of you in survival mode will probably exceed to the highest, fullest, and as much as you can go. Just like on Naked and Afraid. People thought that the original Naked and Afraid was challenging. Called me old-fashioned, but it was much better when they didn't give them saucepans and fucking lighters and shit, and they had to do it all themselves. Because these are people that auditioned for the show, and they were like, yes, I wish to know this because, I am I don't know, I run a camp and I light fires in the forest, show my campies how to create a fire, if you get stuck somewhere or blah 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 and all of this, and then they get on the show and they can't even light a fire. So well, I should say make a fire, sorry. So this is what I'm saying. So it's things like that, but just be mindful of everything around you. And notice behind me, that's the universe, or part of it. There's a lot more in this universe than you would ever believe or even care to imagine. So don't be the typical millennial. Just be you. That's what I keep saying to my niece anyway. Some people have to learn the hard way. So that's all I can say. And I hope this does help some of you. I really do. So, on that night, I'm out.